Quarterback's done. I'm starting to wonder. I am? Hello? Hello, everyone.
Oh, you have two. That's cool.
Yes. Welcome to Culver City's Cultural Affairs Commission meeting. Geez, where are we? February. May I have a call to order and a roll call, please?
One moment, one moment. I'm just recording the meeting. Yeah, go ahead. I know. Okay. So, how do I undo this? Cancel. Sorry. Commissioner, Vice Chair O'Carroll and Commissioner Willick already notified us that they would not be attending. Do you have a roll call on your pads? No. Commissioner Mascali,
Here.
Commissioner Fleischer,
Here.
and Chair Williams.
Here?
Stop roll call. Record. Okay. Click on the next one. Moves it over here. Okay, great. You can keep going.
Regular session is now open. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Katie, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance today, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation.
On the agenda?
Can we just remind you, Chair Williams, please, to unmute yourself? Okay. The next, can you call the next agenda item, please? I know you're,
Presentations?
no, public comment?
I said that.
It wasn't recording because the mic was off.
Oh, it wasn't loud enough? Public comment, items not on the agenda, please?
Okay. So, I don't have people signed up in advance, but I think there's some people in the room who would like to make a public comment. One or two? One or two? Both of you? Okay. First public comment is Alexi Steele. So you have to add a speaker. Yeah, but he's doing it.
Dear commissioners, friends, I didn't even realize that we will be again with Katie, and we're so grateful for everything that Katie done, and so amazing job, and cultural affairs that with Artist Laureate program. And the reason I wanted to stop by is, which is long overdue, to update you on what I was doing, and since time we see you sort of from that stage lost. And I was fortunate enough to, after concluding my Artist Laureate tenure, to receive a great, important, fabulous grant by the state of California called California Creative Corp. And with that, it was really an amazing journey that really resulted in many incredible events. The work from that process was featured in such events such as Black History Month in Long Beach that was selected and curated by their by the African American Cultural Center of Long Beach, and then it was also curated, this work, the body of work of Love My Neighbor, featuring my longtime neighbors in Carson, which was the basis of my work, my tenure work as artist laureate in Culver City. And it was featured also as a part of official celebration at the Long Beach City Hall for Black History Month of 2024 last year. And now this work is very exciting. It's will be the product of that, showcasing my public art medium and celebrating the community hero, is now in the final stages of being placed at Long Beach City College. And the most recent development that I wanted to share with you is that on January 25, at our own Vice Mayor Puza, Freddie Puza, event for, honoring his vice mayorship, I launched a project, again, continuing the theme of Love My Neighbor in our own city, with honoring our great Culver City firefighters, and who bravely and courageously helped us all combating the fires that we all were, one way or another, we were all touched. I hope none of you were directly or close, or people close to you, but so many in our city did. And our very own Culver City crew of firefighters was at the Palisades fire from not day one, from hour one. And this crew was, thank you to our Chief Powell and fire engineer Alec DeMattis, were incredibly gracious enough to be very supportive of my project. And now I'm launching the Painting of Love My Neighbor series with a grant from our own Culver Arts Foundation, and that eventually will be featuring, again, my new public art medium. And that's a super exciting development. I'm so happy to share that with you, that direct continuation of my artist laureate tenure and our great joint journey with this phenomenal artist laureate program that we were so fortunate
Your time is up.
to share now, to have Katie Kranz. Thank you, Katie. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexi.
Alicia Ide?
Good evening. As always, I tell you that I'm a member of the city staff, but I'm not here in that capacity. Tonight I'm here representing the Culver Arts Foundation. We just wanted to announce officially to you all that we have relaunched our Artist Resiliency Fund and assigned the remainder of this year's grants funding to that fund, and to help local artists who are struggling financially because of the fires. Anyone who is interested in applying should go to the website, Culver Arts website, and go to the grants page of Culver Arts website. You can also send an email to grants@culverarts.org. And this is a very flexible grant between $500 and $2,500. It's not meant for a project or a program. It's meant simply to help with everyday expenses, such as rent or electricity or groceries, car payments, whatever, and allowing the artists to focus on what they do best, which is creating art and enriching our community. Thank you.
Thanks, Aisha. Any other public comments not on the agenda?
No, no one
Okay,
else.
thank you.
Can you say that again, please?
May we have our presentations, please?
Okay, yes.
Good evening, Commissioners. I haven't seen you in this capacity for about a year, actually. When I was doing my presentation, I realized that the last time I presented sort of what I had done was actually January of last year. So I want to catch you up. My tenure's over. It was amazing. I had a fabulous time. I saw some of you at the commendation last week, which was really, I was so touched by that. But I'm just going to run through these projects. I know you guys have a big agenda tonight, so I'm not going to take up a ton of time. So wanted to just share in order, I'm going through just chronologically what happened last year, starting with the mural painting at the former gun store, then moving into the opening of Dear Culver City, and then I was at the Culver City Book Fair panel, and then a pop-up art center at Fiesta La Bayona. I did an interactive art activity at Mayor McMorrin's State of the City address. And then, of course, the workshops that led up to the mosaics at the former gun store for the Peace Beloved community. So I'm mostly just sharing some photos. I had a lot of fun putting these together because it was just fun kind of reliving the projects. But this is Valentina Trentini on the left, doing the sign painting, transforming the signage at the gun store, and then Brooklyn Wildflowers on the right, painting in the mural on the roof. And here we are on the lift. I wanted you guys to know that I took a lift training to do this project. So I feel very proud of that. I got over a massive fear of heights to do that. And I also directed traffic when the lift got delivered. So that's a photo on the left. I had no idea that that would be happening while I was Artist Laureate, but that was actually very fun. And my neighbor passed me and was like, Katie. So anyway, that was a highlight. So that was where we finished up in February of last year. So this is a year ago. And that's just the way the light hit the building in February. I can't even believe that. It's not retouched at all. It's just like just a beautiful day. Okay, and then moving right along from there, it was a big push to then get ready for the Dear Culver City event, which was in April. So this is just a shot of all those pieces. I had wrapped up the workshops by then, but I was still glazing. And I did a lot of glazing actually at the Senior Center. And Commissioner Fleischer's mom was actually an excellent glazer, and she glazed some of the pieces. And then this is actually, I had help from my mom, who helped me string the pieces in my studio. Here's the invitation to the show. Some of the kids who participated in the workshops. Here's the piece once we got it up. And then here's the opening. Fortunately, I don't have a ton of pictures from the opening because I was so busy, but these are some of the poets reading, and then a copy of the book in the center. And I wanted to share this with you because I didn't know if you knew this, but the book is at the Julian Dixon Library. I gave 2 copies to the librarians, and she sent me the link to how you can find it. So if you ever lose your copy, you can find it there. Okay, so that was the spring, and then into the summer, we had Fiesta La Bayona, and with the support of the Culver Arts Foundation, I organized a pop-up community art space and found artists to do workshops. This is the schedule on the left. Unfortunately, I got COVID the day before the actual event, but the program did go off. And I think it was a lot of fun. This is Karen Rock actually doing her quilting workshop. And then fast forward to November. This is Mayor McMorrin gave her State of the City address at the Venda Museum. and asked if I could do a interactive project. And they specifically said, please don't do ceramics because it takes too long. So I thought, how fun would it be to just do some printmaking? So people came over, they used sort of like dull pencils to sketch into thin pieces of foam, and then we rolled ink onto the foam, and then we printed that onto this print. I think it turned out pretty good. It was a new experience for me. Okay, and then at the same time, the tile workshops were happening for the mosaics at the former gun store. So this is 2 photos from Art Walk and Roll, and that was there's Alexi there doing his tile. We also had a great event at the gun store parking lot, and we had an event for La Bayona's Fall Festival, and made a ton of tiles, and then we installed. I wanted to show you this because I don't think any of you have been able to come to my studio, but I laid everything, in case you're interested in the process. The backer boards were cut ahead of time because, as you know, this piece can be taken down if the building gets demolished. And so these are cut into pieces. I laid everything out ahead of time and adhered the tiles in the center panels ahead of time in my studio. And then on the right, that's just an image of the sketches. Okay, and then this is install day of the first day. You can see the guys from Public Works who were super kind to put up the panels, and you can kind of see in the picture on the right how that was about as much as I could do in my studio, those centers. So Michael and I, who's in this photo, had a lot of work to do on site to finish the sides and then that middle seam so everything kind of lined up. And here's what they look like. And that, oh, yep, and that's it. Yep, and that's it. So I just want to say thank you so much, all of you, for the support that you provided. And it was just such a blast. I had so much fun. I met so many great people, and I'm definitely going to cherish this experience. So thank you.
Katie, I want to add one element that I didn't see up there, but you were also at Art Walk and Roll from dawn till dusk doing tile making as well.
Oh, that was the one.
Was that in there? Okay, I thought I didn't see it, and I thought there's a whole day that I was present for that I don't see in that presentation.
So thank you. Commissioners, do you have any statements you'd like to make? Start with Commissioner Fleischer.
Katie, you've heard from me a lot, so thank you, of course, for everything. But I just wanted to say that what you did tonight, this documentation, is so important. So thank you for making such a clear presentation for everyone to see just how much you did. And I think it's a wonderful template of sorts. I don't really want to say it's a template because every artist is going to have their own way of doing things, but I think we can use this as a guideline for the next artist laureate. So I appreciate what you did tonight to show us all of these different things. Yes, they were all connected by your artwork, even the printmaking, right? And I think that thread through several smaller projects is something that when a new artist laureate is trying to come up with their ideas, it doesn't have to be this one huge thing they're doing, but you can meet people and have ideas and have those generate ideas, and I think you really showed us that tonight, so thank you. And let's see, there was one more thing. Oh, I'm wondering, were there remnants of all of the tile work?
You mean like leftover tiles?
Leftover tiles that just weren't used in either Dear Culver City or the gun store project?
Okay, the gun store project, I used every single scrap. It's all in there because it's a combination of handmade tile and salvage tile. And so I made sure every handmade tile made it in, and then I had to supplement with the salvage tile. And then Dear Culver City, I don't, all the words got used, and all the sculptures, everything you see is there, except there was a day when, I think it was at the Art Walk and Roll 2 years ago, I was a little nervous about not having enough pieces, and so I made a bunch of the flat pieces that like the words would be on. We had people just making patterns, and actually, I'm glad I have them. I have a small box of them left, and I'm really glad I have them because I don't know if you realize this, but the piece was actually vandalized like a couple months ago, and I was able to use those to piece those pieces back together. And I still have some if it happens again, but hopefully not.
Great. All right, I was just curious about that. All right, thanks again,
Yeah,
Katie.
sure.
Thanks for
Yeah.
everything. And I hope you'll stay close in touch because I think the new artist laureate is going to really enjoy your mentorship and appreciate your mentorship. So thank you. Yours too, Alexi. Thanks.
Commissioner Mascali?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything specific to add other than a large amount of appreciation. I do feel like you've left large shoes to fill. You've set the standard very high for future artist laureates, and we all gained a lot as a community from your stewardship of this program. And I think one thing that stood out to me with the way that you designed all your activations during your tenure was it was always community-centered and community-focused, and there was always impactful and thoughtful ways to get people involved, which I think sometimes is a little bit hard to do when you're an artist because you're supposed to have this, self-centered and egotistical almost kind of look about your art and like, what can I get out of this myself? But you always kind of like sacrifice that part of it and a little bit in order to, extend that creative process to the community, which I think is really important in this role. And you really demonstrated an effective way of doing that. So I really commend you on your attitude towards the position and your dedication, going to all the community events and really bringing art to the people and meeting them where they are. So yeah, really, hands down, a great experience for everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Scally. Yes, and I'd like to also thank you so much, Katie. You have been outstanding. You have left such a huge footprint on the Artist Laureate program for Culver City. It's going to be beautiful. It'll be around. People can see it every day. I think it warms people's hearts to just drive by and see a new space reimagined, an old space reimagined. And again, I ditto everything Commissioner Mascali said about your ability to seriously engage the community to create these beautiful works that turn out to be these public art pieces that everybody gets to enjoy. So I want to thank you so much for your tenure as Artist Laureate, as well as you, Alexi. But thank you so much, Katie.
And Chair Williams, is it okay if I read a statement from Vice Chair O'Carroll as well that she wrote? She can't be here tonight.
Please do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Katie Krantz, thank you for being an outstanding artist laureate. Your creativity, commitment, and community spirit have been the cornerstones of your residency that has resulted in beautiful and meaningful art that all of Culver City can experience and enjoy. Your work as an artist has consistently been selfless, as has been mentioned before, as you have always put our community first, have engaged everyone from children to seniors to participating in creating memorable art. From the Dear Culver City art installation to the former gun store mosaics to all of your other community art activities, thank you for enriching and inspiring our Culver City community. Wishing you all the best with your future endeavors.
Thank you. Any other comments or statements?
I mean, I could say on behalf of the staff, it's been a pleasure to work with you. I was absolutely floored that you were able to accomplish as much as you did and was devastated not to be at Dear Culver City. I was on board, but still remote at that moment. So I was hoping that there would be some sort of live feed, and my colleagues were texting me the entire event, and I just knew that, that what you had accomplished even in April was more than I could even have imagined for someone in this role. So thank you for being so unbelievably ambitious with your goals and for always answering the phone when anyone called you for an extra add-on. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, may I request a receipt of correspondence?
There was 2 pieces of mail that I left on your chair, Chair Williams. And then also, you should have all received an email forwarded from an invitation from one of our sister cities, Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada, to join a group trip. So that was sent to you by email. That's all the correspondence.
Thank you. All right, we can move to our consent calendar items. The first is to approve the minutes of the regular meetings of December 17th, 2024, and January 21st, 2025. Commissioners, do you have any revisions, updates, or requests? Commissioner Fleischer.
I'm not sure this warrants a change, like a revision, but in the January minutes on page 2, I'm referred to as Member Fleischer instead of Commissioner Fleischer. Is there a reason for that? Because later on, it says Commissioner Fleischer, so I don't know if that's just a mistake or. Okay, I mean, I don't know if it warrants, I don't know if it means enough to change it, but if you feel like you need to for the record, then that was my comment.
It's probably because that's how they refer to the council
Right.
members. So they probably got fixed.
Any other revisions or suggestions? I didn't have any. Okay, thank you.
Is it on your screens?
I have a question because I was here for December 17th, but not the 21st. So are they separate or the same?
Approving the minutes is not affirming that you participated or that you agree with everything. It's just is this a accurate record of the meeting? You don't have to have been at the meeting to approve the minutes.
Okay.
So would anyone like to move to approve the minutes? I have a second, but somehow it didn't come up with someone to, oh, okay. So, And then a minute ago, Commissioner Fleischer was listed as a, Right, okay. Now I got them. So, stop motion, record. It's showing, so moved by Commissioner Mascali and seconded by Chair Fleischer. Please start voting. Okay, record. The motion passes with 3 ayes. Oh, I gotta stop it now.
So we should move now to our action items.
Okay, yes. Let me get
Okay, action item A1, creation of an ad hoc Fiesta La Balona Entertainment Subcommittee, and 2, assignment of commissioners to the ad hoc Fiesta La Balona Entertainment Subcommittee for fiscal year 2024 to 2025.
So we don't have a separate staff report out on this because this is the second year that we've established a subcommittee for this, but I would invite our colleague, Jill Thompson, to address the commission if she has anything further about the process or anything, and then we will sort of decide who wants to be on the committee.
As Sally mentioned, my name is Jill Thompson. I believe I know all of you, but I am a Recreation and Community Services Supervisor in the Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Department, and I am the lead for the entertainment stage for Fiesta La Bayona. And as Sally said, it is all in the staff report, so I'm essentially here if you have any questions. Commissioner Mascali was one of the ad hoc members last year, so he can also speak to his firsthand experience. But essentially, for Fiesta La Bayona, we open up applications to the community, and we typically get between 100 and 150 applications per performers. And the staff culls those down and then presents them to the members of the ad hoc subcommittee to help us decide who the performers were, and that way we have more of a consensus between more people as to who the performers are for Fiesta, since it is such a large community event, and we want the Arts Commission to be involved in that process. So that's what it is in a nutshell. It was very successful last year with Commissioner Mascali and Vice Chair O'Carroll were the two ad hoc members, and it was really helpful to have their input. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, if you have any.
Thank you, Jill. Any questions?
I can tell you right now, I received an email earlier from Vice Chair O'Carroll, who has volunteered to serve on this subcommittee again. And so I relay that to the group. And so any others who would be interested in volunteering?
Yeah, I'm down. I will continue my service.
Thank you.
As a curator of entertainment for the community, since I did such a great job last year.
You did. We had a good lineup.
Modest as usual. Okay, so do we have anyone else interested, or do we have consensus that Vice Chair O'Carroll and Commissioner Mascali would continue this year as well?
I think we have consensus that
Okay.
Vice Chair Carroll and Commissioner Mascali should continue as the Entertainment Subcommittee for Fiesta La Bayona.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Terrific. Thank you. Look forward to working with you
Same.
again.
Yeah, and
Okay.
one thing that I might add is that although we do open it to the whole community, and a lot of the acts, we would say are considered more or less modest, but maybe moving forward and in anticipation of larger events, maybe we can think about having one performer from the group of the 150 or 200 people who apply, that, like, as you guys are starting to cull the process, think of maybe one special performer per night that can kind of stand out as, for example, headliner, quote unquote. Just to think about that would be great. Because it would also help us to think, well, this small collection of artists from the larger group we feel are the most accomplished, just a thing to think about. But yeah, looking forward.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay,
She has to call the agenda item.
okay.
Please call the next agenda item.
I can't read it now.
Okay, hold on. Look at this, look how fast it is.
Great,
The new
thank
screen.
you. Okay, agenda item 2, consideration of 2024-2025 Cultural Affairs Work Plan updates. Also, 2025-2026 Cultural Affairs Work Plan priorities. And number 3, provide comments and/or make recommendations to the city manager as appropriate. Staff?
Okay, now I'm on. There are a lot of slides, so I'm going to move quickly through them. I am really using most of this slide deck for our presentation to council in a couple of weeks, so you're sort of my dry run here. Much of this is you already know, so I will just proceed very quickly through those. And I have another slide deck for our next agenda item, so I'm conscious of the fact that you'll be hearing my voice a lot. So what I would ask is that you ask questions as we go, so that I can clarify things that on each slide. This proposal includes, this is the one slide that will not be part of the presentation to council, which is just to give you an update on our work plan. You have in our staff report 2 documents, one that is the updates and one that is sort of future looking for 25, 26. So you may recall that we did not have a cultural affairs manager when this first work plan was presented. I was not hired yet. So as such, it's a bit of an unusual work plan. It was also the first year that the city sort of did away with work plans that had what you already are doing in common practice for a division, and they asked us to focus only on new initiatives. So you'll see in front of you the list of the new initiatives that were included in that work plan. It does sort of suggest that there wasn't a cultural affairs manager at the time, because many of these were sort of side projects and didn't have as much of a long-range vision in mind. But I'm happy to field any questions as to the status. You have most of the status reports in your staff report already. A lot of this has been covered. Many of you attended the Creative Economy event in October. You were a part of the August municipal code conversation. We have a date held tentatively for a pilot music in the chambers program, so that's something that was discussed a year ago and will hopefully see itself onto the calendar officially within this fiscal year. And the only other thing to note is there was a conversation about removing the fountain in front of the police station. And you'll see in our report that we've paused work on that in favor of a larger conversation about artwork deaccessioning and potential other artworks that may be past their usable life or have seen significant wear and tear and might warrant a conversation about removal next year. So Sam Lee and I will be working on that in the next year. But other than that, are there any questions on the previous work plan?
Since we're so specific about the public art here, what I don't see here is the Plaza project, the one that has been kind of in limbo for a couple of years. I'm just wondering.
Oh, you're referring to the Mark Fornes piece?
Yes.
Yes, so that was not part of our work plan per se, but I can give you a status update on that. We actually, the last we heard is it's in fabrication. So the tentative goal was the fall, early winter for installation. We have not gotten a recent update on where things stand, but we hope to give you one soon. All right, I'm going to move ahead here. I also just direct you to some language that you'll find on our website and often in many of the things that I send out now, which is sort of a new mission statement for the division. Feel free to go to culvercity.org and click under the arts pages to see this, but this is sort of a description. I found that there wasn't a ready statement when I was hired, so this is something to serve in that capacity. These are the core functions. Again, I will not go through all of these. You are very familiar with our core functions. I just wanted to point out that the little icons you see on the bottom were directed from the strategic plan for the city. So they each represent diversity and equity, cost savings. They symbolize various things. I added a little Olympics torch down there because I really want to draw your attention to many of these new programs that we're going to be proposing to you in this work plan that have the potential to become Olympics extensions. And so this conversation tonight about the work plan will bleed into the next conversation about the Olympics, and you'll see that we have attempted to take some of the ideas and activate activations that have been suggested by members of the public and start them now. Whether they end up as Olympics initiatives or not, they were wonderful suggestions and something that we think will activate our spaces and engage more artists. And so we were really enthusiastic about them, and you'll see them throughout this work plan. Another new thing that I just say that the last year has been a lot of planning and kind of thinking through the future and getting ourselves prepped for a long-range plan. And so we've developed these values as a division as we've been working. We've been increasing we hope to increase opportunities for artists through workforce development and commissions. We started this earlier in the year by a studio visit initiative where we've met upwards of about 15 artists so far that are local artists. And it is dramatically informed both our connection to the community and our understanding of artists and their place in this community. So it's very much, you'll see their influence throughout this work plan as well. Neighborhood engagement and community-led activations is something that you'll also see in this work plan. And I would just fully emphasize the alignment. Two major plans were just approved by City Council this year. The general plan, which is an extremely lengthy document you'll find in our website, as well as the Parks plan, which was just confirmed a couple of weeks ago. The arts are mentioned throughout these documents many, many, many times. And our intention moving forward is to fully align with those plans as well. Our work plan priority 1 is the community cultural plan. You'll see here that we anticipate starting this work before the end of this fiscal year and putting a call out. But we have also done some preliminary background work and again set up some of these initial meet and greets to prep for this plan. And our community cultural plan started with sending out an RFQ, request for qualifications, to arts consultants, of which we've just spent a couple of hours going through yesterday. We had somewhere, 20 people about submit. Many of them are great contenders for a variety of activations with this work plan, and a few actually to consider for the cultural plan itself. So we thought that was a very useful exercise, and it got a lot of new faces and information in front of us. The next work plan is, oh yes.
Are you going to involve the subcommittee when you hire the consultant for that?
Absolutely. Okay. I think the subcommittee will probably get a report on this RFQ as well once we've kind of culled through the applications, and just so you know what's come through at this stage as well. And then we'll launch into that phase where we're actually looking at the true scope of the community plan and what we'll be asking for in the call for consultants. The next here is performing arts and live events. As you know, we have a robust performing arts grants program. That's what falls in here. What is different this year is we'll be taking a really long-range view of this program and aligning it directly with the cultural plan and considering new opportunities or potential changes to the program based on it. We do anticipate that we will have a little less funding next year for this program based on the allocations and our predictions so far. As you know, the Performing Arts Grant Program is drawn directly from developer fees, and what we can assess right now is that we will probably have a little bit less than this past year, and it's dictated by our percentages. The next is, I wanted to make this very general, but this is the category where things like Fiesta, music in the chambers, and you'll see we have develop, implement, and support a variety of live music events. So this is a catch-all for a lot of different things. And again, as you know, our municipal code dictates our spending in performing arts. So we have this on the agenda as or have that on the work plan draft because we want to separate it from the Performing Arts Grant Program about what kind of live events we'll actually have the capacity to work on and which ones we might support, but in other ways, whether or not we approach sponsors to support things or we find other municipal funders for further performing arts and live music events initiatives. So that'll be a discussion this year. Another is updates to our historic code. This has been something that's a conversation for many years, and in fact, my predecessor, I think, even got so far as to have it approved a few years ago before the pandemic. If you look through our general plan, we have probably over a dozen instances where there are comments about cultural affairs overseeing historic potential tax incentive programs, many things that are currently we do not offer as a city. So this is the one area where we will be asking for support from the general fund in this work plan because it falls outside of the scope of what the Cultural Trust would cover. We've had an initial meeting to talk about phasing out some of the longer historic preservation elements that are outlined in our general plan and hope to tackle them in a way that is, something that we can handle. Likely the first thing would be updates to the municipal code and that would inform all of the other phasing. So that's one of the items in the work plan. The next, and this is the thing I'm most excited about, and I'm not even looking at my notes anymore because I did not use the right font, so you'll just hearing this ad hoc, is the rotating art program. This ticks a lot of boxes. It allows for a quicker turnaround in installing new artwork. It is something we can do to align with our parks plan, which has lots of instances of wanting arts in the parks. The Arts District BID has been in touch with us about activating the medians along Washington Boulevard. This could be something where we picked sites there, and we've already scouted with our colleagues in Econ Dev possible locations for this. We're borrowing completely from Pasadena's rotating art program, which is a very good model for us. And in essence, it's 7 sculptural pieces installed for about 3 to 5 years. A handful of those are original commissions and fabrications with artists, and a handful are on loan. So we would actually have work that's already completed and put it installed on site. It's a great opportunity to engage emerging artists who maybe have never done a full commission with a municipality. It's a wonderful entry point for workforce development. And it is a lower budget threshold, so we're able to put up more items using the trust, and it's temporary art that goes up and is exciting for the viewers. You can see it change every 3 to 5 years. It reduces our reliance on art maintenance, so these pieces are not something where we're looking at a 10-year maintenance plan for them. They go up and then they come down in 5 years. We'll have, general upkeep and maintenance, but it's definitely a budget reducer in that regard. And it keeps spaces vibrant, and cycling through activations in areas that are identified for beautification or would otherwise be enhanced by artwork. This could also be something that pivots for the Olympics. So I have my little torch there, just in case. And it aligns well with the general plan. The next one we have here is an expansion of the utility box wrap program. As you know, Josh Callahan wrapped many of the boxes in the downtown corridor. This is yet another one that achieves multiple goals for us. We have also heard from the Arts District bid regarding hoping that we might wrap some of the utility boxes in the Arts District. And Sam and I have been around and identified other areas such as Tellefson Park area and other such activations that are listed in either the Parks Plan or the general plan as areas where they're looking for more activation. So we hope that we can have a phased approach to tackling a chunk of utility boxes, and new artists can experience this program. It's been very successful, the one we have in downtown, and so we are proposing that program. This one is also very exciting. This is one that is, again, ticking multiple boxes. This program is commissioning artists to create original commemorative poster artwork, which could be part of our permanent collection in both printed and digital files. The application here would be the artwork, which is envisioned as a series of posters, has further potential to be utilized in marketing, storefronts, construction zones, coloring books, potentially in transit art on our buses. You'll see I also have a picture of one of the bus stops that's currently in the Arts District that they will eventually be replacing, that is just calling out for an activation. There are many ways in which a poster contest, and you'll see on the far left the poster by Ernie Barnes, which was one of the big cultural assets from the Cultural Olympiad in 1984. These are collectible. They will be specific to neighborhoods. They will have a local feel. And this is, again, a way to employ and have more opportunities for artists. So we hope, and additionally, I think for Commissioner Mascali, who's mentioned the street banner program a couple of times in past meetings, there are, these could be turned into street banners, all kinds of things. But, this is something that would be a different kind of acquisition for our permanent collection. It would be a digital acquisition.
I have another question.
Yes.
For the rotating art program and for the poster artwork, who's doing all this work?
We would have calls for artists.
No, I mean from the staff side or from the commission side and choosing, are you going to go through the public art process for both of these, for one of them? How are you fitting this already into your work plan? That's a
It's an
lot.
ambitious work plan. It is a lot, and it would definitely be going through the Public Arts Subcommittee, and we would also have independent juries. We've been talking about a public voting process potentially for some of the poster contest stuff so that we can engage the community. Sam has identified 15 neighborhoods, and we'd be phasing this over 2 years. It wouldn't all be done in 1 year.
Are you going to explain the rap battle nature of it?
That's for you. I think it goes, I won't expand upon the Olympics. We're obviously going to have a conversation about that, but that's in our work plan as well, to be determined what we're doing there. This goes back to the police fountain conversation. You'll see the police fountain there. We get queries often from developers who are redeveloping sites where there's art on site, but maybe the artwork has been sitting there. They're wanting to take the artwork down. There's an example is the one in the top right is a gate that was part of a permanent collection piece, but they're redeveloping that whole space. The artwork itself is completely rusted and bent. And technically speaking, there's a conversation to be had about whether or not that's a piece that's a good candidate for deaccessioning. There's also a lot of ethical considerations to taking down artwork and whether or not new artwork needs to go up there. We have a pretty general outline in our municipal code of what it means to deaccession a piece of artwork, but we would like to really work with the Public Arts Subcommittee on a more extensive deaccessioning procedural policy and best practices, and consider potentially doing a full audit of the collection so that when we're presenting all of the pieces that we think are good candidates for this at the same time. So we're doing this in sort of one fell swoop rather than piecemeal over time. Many of our pieces are probably ready for a conversation in this arena, and we know that it's a big undertaking. I'm also just to the left, that's a piece of glass from Truth or Fiction, which is out in front of the Kirk Douglas Theater, which was a pretty sizable expense this year because it involved the crane that has to take off the glass and all of the other things. So there's pieces where the maintenance of the work is quite extensive, and so these are going to be some of the factors that we put into the full report. Finally, sorry, we've got a few more. We have the Artist Laureate Program. You're very familiar with that. This year, the reason it's on our new work plan is that we're really looking to expand both the outreach for finding the Artist Laureate, but also the internal mechanisms for which we communicate and have a very thorough orientation. This was feedback that we got from our Artist Laureate evaluation session a couple of months ago. So we're applying a lot of the things and recommendations from that report. Here we have Frame for a Tree that's going into the Washington TOZ site. We're hoping that this will go in front of council in April. We could really use your support on this piece, which is a long time coming and has been delayed through various COVID-related delays, and we're very excited about it. This is just a sneak peek at some of the new renderings for the piece. I will be excited to share more as we get closer, but we were hoping that will go. And again, this is a gateway art project that we think could be very well marketed for the city as, one of the gateway pieces for the Olympics as well. We have a number of plaques that have been either taken down or stolen, some of them preemptively because they didn't want them to get stolen. I've been working with the city historian to identify and prioritize which ones we replace, and we're going to look at potentially some aluminum pressed material, which is a little bit less expensive and is a little bit more theft-proof, as a possible option for some of the more visible spaces. You'll see Vets Auditorium in front of La Bayona School and a number of other sites. The one at City Hall in the upper right has been taken down preemptively, but we might be able to put up a temporary signage there so that it's just not a glaring hole. We also want to work with the Culver Arts Foundation, who will be presenting us with a memorandum of understanding to formalize our partnerships with them. The other one expired about a year ago, and we're looking forward to working with them on that, on all kinds of partnerships. And then one of the things that I have experienced in the last year, and I think that former Commissioner Wiskowski-Stalen was very vocal about this, and I agree with her, is just not understanding what the work of the commission and the work of cultural affairs, and doing a more concerted effort on our communications about who we are and what we do, and how we engage with the other public entities and businesses and other communities. So I'd like to work with the commission at some point in the next year on identifying some strategies for both our internal and external communications about what we do as a division and what you do as a commission. I think it's important. And I think it will help pave the way for future better collaborations and partnerships with things like the school district and other community organizations.
I just have something to add about that. I think it's a great idea. I also think it might be beneficial to include some kind of like publication or report or posting on social media specific to the commission. Because I see that we're doing a much better job, like from the beginning of my tenure, where I've made multiple social media rants. But I think we can kind of bring that same energy of like how we're positively talking about public works and transportation. Like we've been doing a really good job, and his name escapes me, but there's like one guy who like does
Dustin.
a lot. Dustin, yeah, Dustin's been doing a great job. So I think Dustin, maybe it's time for him to come to one of the meetings and talk to us individually and see. It might like this. It might be beneficial for him to also kind of take on a little bit of that and publicizing the commission to the rest of the people.
Excellent. I will just point out that one of those pictures, the drummers, is I was invited to attend a session with an African American Studies AP class in the high school, and it was wonderful, and it just filled me with joy to be in the room with the students and just made me all the more excited about potentially more direct links to the school district and opportunities there. So if I haven't spoken to you individually, I know that you heard from artist Jeff Moracle about the Arts District tree surrounds. Here are the pictures of them lit at night and without lighting at night. These were set for removal, and about a week and a half ago, that work was paused. And there was a good community effort to at least take a pause on that work and envision what might happen with these tree surrounds, whether they could be preserved or reinterpreted in some way. The council remanded that over to the commission for discussion. So it is now under Cultural Affairs work plan, and we will be getting some information together so that we can present you with some options and some history and some more information about this once we gather it. And again, you'll see a little torch down there because obviously Mr. Moracle mentioned this in the context of the Olympics. Finally, and this is finally, we have a collections management software that allows people to read and learn about our artwork. We may be sort of doing double work, and we just need to assess whether or not this is a software we want to move forward with, or if there's another plan for making sure that people have up-to-date information about all the art in our collection. So that's a project that's a staff-driven project we'll be working on this year, and it will take some time. Finally, that's the three of us. And as you so aptly pointed out, this is an extremely ambitious work plan with new programs. We are aware of that. We really, really, really are a team, and I'm so grateful for my team members. And we really hope to stay a full-time team of three. So we would ask for you to support us in that endeavor whenever possible, and that you know that Sam's term was a temporary term, so we would like to make that a permanent position for the Cultural Affairs division. So we would ask for your support in that, given all of these ambitious work plan items. And that is it.
Thank you. Wow, that's very ambitious, but I like everything. Okay. Oh, go ahead.
So regarding the advocacy for making Sam's position permanent, what's the timing on that? Are you going to be asking for that when you speak to city council? Just tell us how that works, because we want to do the best we can to advocate for that.
We present our work plan on March 4th to City Council. We will definitely have that last slide up there, and we will make that case. But any advocacy, I will say that you can feel free to look at the City Council agendas. I would think March would be a wonderful time for that advocacy, and March 10th is the meeting after the work plan meetings, just as an FYI.
Any other questions, comments? Great. Shall we move to the next agenda item?
Are you ready to hear more of my voice, or did you have any questions or comments related to the work plan? I'm happy to take feedback. I didn't mean to
No.
cut off the feedback.
That's fine. Commissioner Fleischer has
Yeah,
more.
I'll just say one more thing. It was a great presentation. I do like the new format, and I'm very excited about the new proposals. I think it's awesome. So thank you for investing your time and your creative energy in coming up with those and taking community feedback. So for someone who's been, excuse me, sitting up here for a while, it's nice to see so much new energy and kind of a continuing lifeblood of the arts coming through in this work plan. So I think the council will be excited to see those too. Thanks.
Thank you. I mean, I think I just want to draw attention to how many more artists we hope to engage. We have, limited opportunities, and we really want to make this shift that we're supporting artists directly, and I think that that's apparent in some of the initiatives we're proposing. So, and that was very much informed by both what's happening with the arts at a federal level and making sure that at a local level we're as robust as possible as supporting individual artists, but it's also in response to just meeting artists and doing these studio visits and hearing what they need and learning about their types of art and what kind of commissions make sense for our community, and some of these were very much informed by that.
And one more request. Could you send us your work plan, your presentation? Could the commissioners have a copy of that, even if it's after you present it to council? I would love to have that.
Absolutely. It's in draft form. We haven't received the feedback, so if there's any changes to it, I'll let you know, and I'll probably send you the revised one once we have the feedback and any changes from them.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
You're probably good to go on to the next agenda item.
Can't read it.
Oh, you can't see that?
No, it's in blue. I can't read it when it's in blue. I only have the second agenda item still. A2 is the second? Okay, thank you. Yes, okay, that's it. Excuse me?
Still learning.
Okay, no problem. So, anyway, this says A2, but action item 3 is to receive staff presentation regarding best practices and recommendations for the 2028 Olympics programming, and 2, provide feedback and programmatic recommendations to the city's Olympic subcommittee. Staff?
Okay. So you've seen some of these slides before, so I'm just going to click through them. But at our last meeting, you had asked for staff to expand upon some of the items that were not part of previous presentations to the commission, but that were some of the ideas submitted by the public or via the committee. So I'm just going to run through what we have as our main ideas again, and I'm not going to read them all. Again, our work plan, you'll notice some of this stuff is in here, but is already something that I'm proposing for our work plan. So I'm not going to spend too much time, but you'll see Art in Other Spaces. That is the rotating art program, and again, a pivot, but incorporating it very much into the parks plan, into the general plan, and finding the areas where arts activations would make sense, including gateway art. And you already asked about the Mark Forness. That is the update on that. And you also have an update on, hopefully, the timeline for the Charles Gaines piece, all of which will be major initiatives for adding new arts to spaces. Neighborhood activations, we talked about last time. I've added in a photo again of the tree surrounds. Commissioner Muscali informed me of is it the Fairhang Foundation that you're a part of? And I saw those beautiful street banners on Friday night, and so I added a little note in the upper left-hand. Street banner was something that we didn't talk, our street light and street banner program. I put that as an example in there, but again, the poster contests and the commemorative posters could be easily turned into a banner program. We already have in our work plan the tree surround, so that will be whether or not this activates as an Olympics initiative or otherwise, supporting the Culver City Arts Foundation and their mural art program, and again, an expansion of the utility box wraps. Here we have community partner activations. These were the ideas submitted. Art in Transit, again, could connect very easily to a poster contest or through digital art, or could be some other initiative related and in partnership with transportation. I know our colleagues in Econ Dev are definitely talking about programming Media Park, and that's going to start soon, so maybe there will be some natural extensions there as well, and also an Ivy Station. Walking tours, and since Alicia's here, maybe she can clarify. This was something up there, but I know that Alicia had presented last meeting about historic and architecture and art walking apps. Is this something that you're proceeding with as an app, or was a suggestion? I wasn't clear, so I left you a message earlier just to make sure I knew what that meant. That's okay.
Do on a sort of independent basis, because we know again runs into problems, but we would hope that the commission and the staff would coordinate, especially in regards to the art in public places activations throughout the city. But we also want to expand it to historical locations, architecture, the artwork that's located in public spaces of private properties, and all the other things that are currently a lot of people don't even know exists. So, and then create tours and all of that through an app. That might be something that could be coordinated with the kiosks, or it would be something that but we have a timeline to try to put it in, get it going in time for Olympics.
Thank you. So that was the one thing I needed clarity on, and I had assumed that that was the case. So it sounds like the foundation is going to be proceeding, and it would be supporting the foundation and their initiatives here for tours. And then the big one. So you've obviously heard the 4 major presentations for festivals. So there's the Performing Arts Festival that David Mack has presented, the Jazz Festival that we've heard from Jazz Bakery, the International Festival with the Sister Cities Committee that Commissioner Muscali, and then also I added in here the themed film festival that was proposed by the Culver Arts Foundation. Our directive today is to not go through these proposals again, and I'm happy to take a quick pause if there's any questions on any of that before I start my recommendations. But your directive today is more to take in the key best practices recommendations. We've absorbed a lot, we've heard a lot of great ideas, and what those might look like to propose to the subcommittee, Olympics subcommittee, that will then take those recommendations and decide on the larger programmatic proposal to City Council later in the year. Are there any questions before I move on from that? Okay. So this is from observing all of this, but it's also from the many municipal arts funders meetings that have been about this subject. So I've drawn a lot of lessons from all of the meetings that I've attended, and then from feedback from my colleagues and from just listening to the last couple of commission meetings. Prioritize local partners and nonprofits with vast knowledge of Culver City. These are probably pretty common sense recommendations, but I throw them out there for you. Whenever feasible, elevate organizations that possess a rich history with Culver City and are well-versed in contracting and insurance stipulations. So this is really about efficiency and anticipating larger issues before they become issues, and teamwork for maximum buy-in and alignment. This is also for efficiency. Prioritize interdepartmental partnerships. So again, we want to propose something and work with our fellow departments and within our capacity of the city prior to just dropping a new program on them. So whenever possible, working in tandem. This, avoid competing with nonprofits on programming concepts. This is for this and for all things, really. This is, we are, as a cultural affairs division, our role is to support and connect first and foremost, to not reinvent the wheel. I know I proposed a lot of new programs, which is not going to always be the case. I think as a commission and as a division, we are arts advocates and we are connectors. So we should remember that role when we're thinking about the Olympics and realize that the arts organizations are the experts and we should engage them to lead efforts. Aligning projects with the ongoing work of cultural affairs, you'll see that our entire work plan had this in consideration. I also, in my second bullet point there, newly proposed programs for neighborhood posters, utility wraps, and rotating, as well as growing the jazz series can all be included extensions into Olympics. So we have the options, if by building it into our work plan now, to scale up if we have capacity, or to scale back if we don't, for various programs that would have Olympics extensions. Here's a big one. Be intentional in aligning with the city of LA, the county, Cultural Olympiad, and LA 28, all of the major organizers. We already received a word that we might be moving a little too fast, or that there was a misperception that we maybe had already greenlit a giant festival and hadn't informed anyone, which was not the case. My recent meeting, especially with the fires, indicated that there's a couple of cities that had been moving and had taken a step backwards just to reassess. So we want to make sure our pacing matches their pacing. We can certainly be prepared and ready, but we don't want to overstep what is happening at the larger level. And I got the impression in the next quarter, within the next quarter, we'll have a lot of announcements about who they're engaging for production partners and how they're going to be communicating out and linking us even further. So we should wait for that so that we know what we're doing. Provide encouragement to the Culver Arts Foundation for their programs, which we already discussed. And then some key themes and concepts that have come out of our conversations. Performance pop-ups in expected and unexpected locations. We thought this was an excellent idea for engaging all of the venues in and around Culver City and in underutilized areas, in the parks, all over the place. And the element of surprise was key in a lot of the proposals. Honoring cultural identity of Culver City through neighborhood activations that are simple to produce. Again, you'll see this in our proposed, yes. Your thank you. Identity. I knew I was going to catch weird spelling errors in here because I've stared at these slides too long. Yeah. I think we talked about the tree surrounds being a nod to history, but we know that the larger theme is legacy. There are many ways to honor legacy at a very micro-local level. And that's the point here, and also a lot of the background to the utility box expansion, the poster contest, and any other smaller scale activations. Arts activations and gateways we've also talked about. I will just again refer you to the general plan and to the parks plan for further identification of many sites that would be likely candidates for activations. Working with the city of LA or the county on large-scale festival concepts in terms of feasibility and scale. So in addition to waiting for their pacing, waiting for their preferred contractors and whoever they bid out as an umbrella so that we can utilize and be more efficient with our budget, and we aligned with them. And there might be cross-pollination between who the firms that they're hiring and what is the best use for, the best opportunity for Culver City as well. And that is it. So I'm happy to go backwards to any of these if you want to talk about them further. I would ask that you provide feedback to these recommendations and ideas, and anything else you wanted me to contribute to add to the slide deck that we will present with a corrected spelling of identity to the subcommittee in the next couple of weeks. And sorry, I'm just clarifying, it's the City Council Subcommittee we're presenting to, not the Internal Cultural Affairs Subcommittee.
Push towards this work plan? Commissioner Mascali, since he is on that Olympic committee for a subcommittee for cultural affairs, if he had any thoughts or ideas or suggestions beyond what you have presented.
No, I reviewed this document and I thought it was pretty extensive, and it did a good job at kind of synthesizing down the positive aspects that were found across multiple, what we could say, smaller time stuff that kind of ties into things that we're already doing, kind of in one category, and then kind of like big time stuff that could potentially manifest or might have to like link into other stuff. I do agree with with what Sally mentioned about not trying to go a little bit too fast, because it seems like some of the other jurisdictions that we need to kind of be in line with, aligned with, and working in parallel with, are kind of moving a little bit slower for obvious reasons. The year started off with kind of unfortunate circumstances that kind of threw everyone off a little bit. So some cities, I have a feeling, are trying to be sensitive to that and not be like, oh, we're going to plan a big party right now, like while all your houses just recently burned down. So I think that's kind of a little bit of the approach that's happening right now. But yeah, I agree with what's been presented. I think that first slide that emphasizes working with groups and organizations and institutions that have a track record in the community and have worked with individuals in Culver City, have established projects in Culver City. I think that, for me, that's probably one of the more important points that's made throughout the whole document. But yeah, I think it's for where we need to be right now, and our recommendation, where it needs to go, and the audience that it's going to be received at the point at this point right now. I think this is a good way to go about it.
Thank you, Commissioner Mascali. Commissioner Fleischer?
Yeah, this is excellent. Thank you for putting this together. So my, and it's not really a concern, but something that I think about is something that you mentioned last time, Sally, and that's the balance of programming. And I think that's something that we do need to stress to the City Council, or to the subcommittee for the Olympics. But with a caveat in that Culver City is unique in how much public art we have, right? And we've only just in the last couple of years started to kind of increase the visibility of what we can do for the performing arts, and hopefully with music in the chambers that might increase more. The Jazz Bakery always being a part of our community has definitely helped, but because of public art being so present in our culture here, that if that piece is bigger, that would be okay with me. Also, I think it's maybe slightly easier to manage and not something we necessarily need to coordinate, so it's just a little bit easier along those fronts. So all of these things that you're putting in the work plan that could conceivably go towards the Olympics, I think that's excellent because it is very efficient in that way. So as much as I would love there to be performing arts throughout, every single day of the Olympics, and we have all of our community groups presenting. I'm not sure that that's feasible, but of course, we want to have elements of the performing arts, and we need the excellence of the performing arts to be here, too. So that's something that is also important to me. Something like the Jazz Bakery and the kind of the what they already bring to the table is really important.
One thing I forgot to mention, it's an update in the last week, and that is not yet confirmed, but that there are a number of different countries that are looking to potentially have hospitality houses in Culver City. And the benefit of waiting a little bit is if those things come to fruition in the next couple of months, it may inform very much what the programming will be, because we'll know really who our audiences are in a much more pronounced way.
And then just one more thing, since Alicia is still here, about the walking tour. So we have our red books, and I know books are getting obsolete, and not a lot of people actually have the physical copy, but I'm wondering if that's already filled with public art, right? It is a walking tour. You can get an app to follow along with it. Is this something that Culver Arts is building on, or are you creating an entirely new walking tour? And what is your plan for that?
We really haven't gotten that far. We would certainly use that as a basis of where to start. But technology is changing so rapidly that we would want to be able to make sure we could take advantage of whatever options there are in the next couple of years to make it as flexible and interesting as possible. I mean, I could foresee the app, a new app that sort of collects all the information that's curated and allows people to create their own tours that depending on where you are at the moment, or themed tours, or schedule regular curated tours, or something that would allow for all of that. That would be my dream. What we can afford and what we can organize with the city's help. And if you guys would like to help fund that, that's always good too. But we hope to be able to do some version of that, an expansive version of what you guys already have. That expands to history and film and performing arts and architecture and all the other things that the city is filled with that we want to draw people's attention to.
Okay. So yeah, that's really helpful. Thanks, Alicia. So when you were talking in the work plan about possibly switching softwares, right, maybe that could be something you keep in mind. I know it's not Olympics related, but my thought about the walking tours is the sooner something like that gets up and running, the more a part of the ecosystem it'll already be, and people may know about it. Oh, you should go take that cultural walking tour in Culver City, rather than it just being for the Olympics. I know that's putting a lot of, time pressure, but I don't know if that software might be able to help in terms of integrating where anyone can look at it and create their own public art tour. I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there because you said you were thinking about looking for new software.
Yeah, I mean, we can ask the functionality of the current software system we have. It's through something called Weststaff, and it's really sort of a way to auto-populate the mapping of where our art is and information about the artwork. So I don't think there are that kind of applications, but it's something that we could ask and sort of look into as we're doing that. This is more to make sure that our online collection is up to date and that, you can find what you're looking for, and that we have a mechanism for being accurate about what we put out there for what's in our permanent collection.
And then just the last thing I'll say is that we do have an expert cultural tour guide on the commission right over here. So maybe picking the brain of the expert up here would be a good idea for Culver Arts, because she knows her stuff. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. My feedback is this all sounds great. I like that we're stepping back a little bit to see what's happening from maybe our sister cities, from the international crowd, to see who's coming and why, to maybe also broaden the performing arts business, because if, is it Turkish people are coming and they do that wonderful, there might be a dance group that's coming, that could perform while we're here. I mean, we're going to have a lot of opportunities. So once we know what the larger pot from the LA Olympics Committee is, then we'll know how we can design our program towards using those funds or resources that are available. And
I would also say that this will deeply affect our venues. When we know who's here, we'll know which venues are being utilized by those groups, and so we may have less, or we may have to negotiate differently about where things happen once we know that.
Great. And yes, I was thinking also, I think it would be great to have a digitized walking tour. I just know there's a certain group of people that like somebody to lead them, by hand, but by 2028, maybe that's obsolete, I just don't know anymore. But yes, I like the idea of digitizing an instant walking tour based on where you are, but I also think that there should be a human aspect in the connectivity of people coming to Los Angeles and Culver City and having to interact with somebody who actually lives here. I think that would be great. But
I would also
otherwise,
say that I think that probably part of the overall package of what the Cultural Olympiad and what LA 28 and are planning is how to map experiences and connect us. So I'm sure there will be other extensions of that as well through the larger effort.
fantastic, but it's an excellent work plan, in my opinion. Thank you. Have any public comment? Okay, yes. Alicia.
I just wanted to remind everybody that Saturday is the book festival. I'm going to invite you to come. It's at the Venda. And on,
Do you want to say that one more time because it wasn't my.
oh, sure. Saturday is the annual book festival, which is a local festival that we support with the help of Village Well, and it happens at the Venda Museum. It's all day long, and there's lots of PR out there about it, but just wanted to remind everybody that it's happening, and the intention of it is to supplement the larger LA Book Festival for the smaller print publishers. And so I encourage you to come. Everyone who has ever come has really enjoyed it, and it's happening on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm more specifically looking, if there are any public comments related to the Olympics. Yeah, because we have to stay on the agenda. No,
No,
not
we
yet.
haven't. We were trying, but no, we hadn't gotten there yet.
I just want to read back what I've heard as additional feedback to make sure I've captured everything. A balance of programming, but also showcasing our public art collection because we're rich in it. Are additional things that I think are perfect for this, and then just the connectivity of tours and experiences as a possibility for how to get people here and show them what's here. Does that sound right? Okay. I'm not really requesting a vote because it's more just contributing feedback, but I thank you for that. And I would also just say that, this will happen in the next couple of weeks. If you have further questions, to please reach out because I'm definitely thinking about this a lot.
Okay, now we have public comment, items not on the agenda. Alexi.
Noted, the book festival. And we have no other public comments.
Alexi
Oh,
would like to.
got
You have 3 minutes.
No,
It was a really informative. I think this work plan, might have something on the agenda and then not on agenda. I think it's very informative. I think a really great aspect that was impressed and encouraged to see this is to start thinking and to start thinking creatively and to have an idea. And this is a great starting point for idea gathering and collection that might grow. So congratulations, beautiful to see. And on the non-agenda, just hearing, I wanted to share with you all a really great new discovery that I just made. I think it's maybe adjacent to Culver City, but right on Robertson, I just discovered, met a gallery owner, incredible guy named Ivan, who has a show right now at his gallery dedicated to Black History Month, to various amazing theme of Compton Cowboys, and I visited the opening. It was spectacular show, fabulous, great neighbor. I look forward to introduce Ivan to foundation and to you guys, because it's this really great jewels like this, who is a property owner who supports the gallery and does this remarkable important exhibitions, and just fabulous person. Encourage you. I have the address I could share with you, and hope you would be able to stop by the beautiful gallery. It has this incredible murals. If you drive by Robertson with this really color, and that's on his property, and that there is this Ivan gallery there. Great new discovery. Thank you. Hope you will visit.
Thank you. Any other public comment, items not on the agenda?
No.
Items from members and staff. Staff?
I will briefly say the 21 grants that were recommended by two city council were approved on January 13th. And then I immediately started jumping into contracting. We're about a third of the way through contracting with those 21 grantees. And then starting in March is when the performances start to really ramp up. So please keep an eye on your emails for information about those. And if there's ever something you want to request to like attend and introduce or something, I'd be happy to put you in touch with them. In addition, because there were a fairly large group of people who were not recommended for grants, I've been having a lot of conversations with them regarding that. A lot of people are reaching out to me, asking for feedback. And interestingly, even people who received grants are also reaching out for feedback, which I think is a really good development. I think people saw it as competitive and would like to know how to remain competitive. And that is all that's going on with the grant program right now.
Thank you.
I don't
Sam?
have anything. I think you've heard enough from me tonight, but you will see that most of what I had is somehow integrated into those two proposals.
Okay, and Sam?
I don't have anything, so thank you.
Great. Commissioner Mascali?
I don't have anything specific to add. Sally alluded to the street banner program that I'm involved in, so I encourage all of you guys to take a look at that. It's a banner program that celebrates Persian New Year with another organization that I'm involved in pretty deeply with, Farhang Foundation, and we put a lot of effort and energy and a lot of back and forth with different municipalities. So it's live in Westwood, Beverly Hills, West Hollywood, and we're currently in talks with a few municipalities in Orange County to do a parallel program out there. So I think it's a good kind of flagship, archetype understanding for us to kind of take advantage of and learn from. And we have a few years to kind of align and try to do something similar to that for ourselves.
Thank you. I have to say, that poster banner for Nawaz, am I pronouncing Nowruz? Yeah. It's been fantastic. I mean, I worked at UCLA for 20 years, and Westwood always puts up the most beautiful banners to alert everyone that it is New Year's, and I appreciate it. I mean, I couldn't tell you what they were, but I can tell you that they've all been beautiful, and it just makes me smile to see the banners when I used to drive through Westwood, and it was something I definitely noticed, because it's every year, they're colorful, you know exactly what it is once you know what it is, and I look forward to seeing them. So I think that's a really great program, and I hope that here in Culver City, we can start something similar so that each year we have this banner that goes up that, reminds people of something important in Culver City. Thanks. Commissioner Fleischer.
I'm just full of questions today, but I thought I could do this in just the form of a public service announcement. We are still in the open process of accepting letters of intent for the Artist Laureate program. So that is open till which day? If you could.
March 3rd is the deadline. That's a Monday.
Right, March 3rd is the deadline, so anyone who is listening, please think about applying if you are an artist. And just a quick question, I should have looked this up, and I apologize for not looking it up, but in order to find out the boundaries, you have to go into the FAQ, Sam. Is it possible to put that on the original call, the emails that went out? Do you know what I'm talking about? Because I did get an inquiry about, well, what are the boundaries? And I thought, oh, it's not on here, let me look it up. And it was clearly on the FAQ, but I'm thinking that might be something, if it could just quickly be added to the website, that would be helpful for people.
Yeah, I'm hoping we do at least one more email blast, and we'll obviously be continuing to do our internal outreach. We have several tabs of a spreadsheet that we're working on, but we would definitely, that just reminded me to encourage you all to blast your networks far and wide with this information, and we'll make a note of what you just suggested.
So I hope we have some letters of intent that have come in. All right. And the geographic boundaries are more expanded than they have been in the past? So far. Good. Thank you. That's all for me.
Okay, thank you. That's all that I had also. So, we'd like to get a motion to adjourn.
Moved by Chair Williams and seconded by Commissioner Mascali. Please start voting if you can. Stop voting, record. The motion passes with 3 ayes. Thank you. So stop meeting. Finalize.